thank you all for coming to this beautiful place on this beautiful morning. I grew up about 12 miles southwest of here, but I never came here until about 13 years ago when I was first introduced to Chinatown and Chinese language and culture when I got to know Laura. And as we got to know each other, my first exposure to Chinese culture was she would keep speaking in Mandarin. She kept saying this phrase over and over again, Taoyan Waigoran, Taoyan Waigoran. And I never got a good answer as to what that meant. And so after a few months when I got to know the family, I asked her, Dad, what does that mean? Taoyan Waigoran. And he asked me, well, why do you ask? And I said, well, because Laura says that a lot when we're together. And he laughed out loud and said, well, I hate to tell you this, but it means you're bothering me. So that was my introduction to Chinese culture. And here we are 13 years later with this incredible project. Obviously, a project like this can't happen without the hard work and dedication of lots of people, principally Mayor Emmanuel, Laura's friend and supporter, and also to Mike Kelly and his whole team at the Park District who helped make this possible. Ernie Wong, the designer of the garden and the entire park. It's just absolutely beautiful. Eric Blom, whose work you're going to see here in a couple of minutes, I think. David Wu and the rest of the Pingtown Park Advisory Council. Victor Moore and his team who helped with the landscaping. There's just endless amounts of people that I could thank, not least of which is one of my dearest friends, Tony Xu, who is the president of the Chinatown Chamber of Commerce. But more importantly to me is the big Chinese brother that I never had. So, Tony?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mike, Sophie, Mr. and Mrs. Liu. We thank you for inviting us to this very special day. Our community is indeed honored that you have chosen to install the Justice Liu Memorial Garden in Chinatown and in this park. Laura has touched the lives of our school children, inspired us to excel, and define the words grace and dignity. Laura's legacy will be forever instilled in our hearts and in our minds. There have been recent articles written about Chicago's Chinatown, that we are the only Chinatown in this country that has seen an increase in population, whereas all the other Chinatowns have decreased in population. And these are cities like New York City, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and others. The reasons they cited include affordable housing and our community's strong desire to maintain our cultural heritage. But I think there is more. I think it is the collective will and the ability of our mayor, aldermen, state elected officials, and our residents in making long-term capital investments in our community. During the mayor's tenure, we have seen the installation of a boathouse just south of us, giving us access to the Chicago River. The state-of-the-art Leonard Louis Fieldhouse, right east of here, and an award-winning public library, which has been named one of the 10 best public libraries in the world by Wired magazine. These are the things that make us unique and better than all other Chinatowns in this country. Our success is your success. Please welcome Mayor Emmanuel.
Thank you. I cannot think of a more appropriate way to recognize Laura than on this beautiful day, in this beautiful little oasis, with this incredible weather on both Passover and Easter. That here you have this oasis with a city with all its energy going around. And then here we are in a quiet place with its own sense and force of nature. I think that captures Laura, a quiet force of nature. Never forgot where she came from, but she was a 100% Chicago. And I think it speaks volumes of her life that people from all different backgrounds on one of the most beautiful spring days we had with this holiday weekend of different faiths, people from all parts of the city of Chicago came to pay tribute to Laura because she touched so many of us. And Mike, I want to thank you for sharing her with us. She was a short period of time on the court. On the other hand, her impact will be lasting for generations to come. And this is a small way for all of us in the city of Chicago to recognize Laura's impact, not just on the court, not just in the Chinese community in Chinatown, but her impact on the city of Chicago. And that is, especially as we talk about a city, the most American of American cities, people from all walks of life, all faiths. As I often note, it doesn't matter whether your journey was from Ireland or India, whether your journey was from Poland or Pakistan, or whether your journey was from Mexico or Moldavia, where my grandfather came from. Chicago is where the American dream and people from many different walks of life have come to give their children a better chance and a better tomorrow and build that dream. And Laura is a testament in her life to the power of the American dream and the power and the force that draws people to this great city. And I think we not only pay tribute, but as families walk on this beautiful park here, experiencing just a beautiful day next to a river with residents from all parts of the city, they can see a beautiful statue to a person who decided to make her home Chicago, build a family, and leave a lasting legacy that was better than the legacy she inherited. And so let me today introduce Art Richardson from the Chicago Public Parks, who is part of our Arts in Parks program, to speak about what we're about to see. Art?
Thank you. Good afternoon. I had the honor of getting a chance to meet Judge Liu, but it's apparent by the incredible turnout today that she was an outstanding individual and will be missed. So my name is Art Richardson. I'm the Central Region Manager of the Chicago Park District, and on behalf of Superintendent Mike Kelly, I'd like to thank you all for joining us on this very special occasion at Pingtown Park. In 1991, the Chicago Park District set out to turn an old abandoned rail yard into a 12-acre park with beautiful landscaping, a state-of-the-art field house, and a pagoda-style boathouse. Today, this community can enjoy this grand riverfront park due in great part to the hard work and dedication of the Advisory Council and its supporters. This one-of-a-kind park continues to grow with the addition of this amazing garden and bust in honor of Laura Liu, Illinois' first Asian American appellate judge. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce another friend of this park and this community, Alderman Danny Solis.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you. You know, this is what I consider one of the jewels of the Park District in the city. If you look around, you've got this great Chicago River, which the mayor has a great vision for, calling it the backyard of the city as opposed to Lake Michigan being the front yard. You have that fantastic bridge over there that is a historical landmark. And you have a park that goes from roughly around 19th Street and will be going all the way to 16th Street. And the most unique thing about this park is that it has the names of some great leaders, not in terms of history from dozens or hundreds of years ago, but from right now in the recent past history. It's named Pingtown Park, named after a great leader here in Chinatown. It also has a field house called Leonard Louis, who's also a great leader here in Chinatown. And now it's going to have this beautiful statue of Laura Liu, who again is also a great leader in Chinatown. And if you think about that, and especially the words that Tony said about this is the only Chinese community in the whole country that is growing and vibrant and prosperous, that means a lot. And it took a lot of people, mainly the Chinese community, but also people from, there there was bipartisan support. Governor Ryan was a big supporter of this, as well as Senator Durbin, as well as Mayor Daley, as well as Mayor Rahm Emmanuel. He's really put it in hyperdrive, so to speak, if you want to do Star Trek terms. And then last and not least is your humble servant here. You know, I've been here since 1996, and most of this construction has happened there. And the reason I mention all that is that these three people, and especially Laura, are role models for the culture of the Chinese community. And when little children come here, they're going to ask who Laura is, and they're going to get a little bit of history. And especially those children from St. Therese School, because I think she's been able, in her memory, Mike was telling me the other day, over $200,000 for the kids of St. Therese School. So after saying all of that, I just want to say this is a special occasion. God was very pleased with today's event, and that's why he gave us this great weather. And I'm sure that Laura is looking down on us right now and saying, a job well done. Thank you so much.
I would also like, if I could, to recognize that Speaker Mike Madigan is with us. Two of Danny's colleagues, Alderman Mel, as well as Alderman Quinn are here, and I know a number of judges who are have been colleagues of Laura when she was on the appellate court. Rather me try to, I think there's like a dozen of them. If the judges could hold their hands up. We got, oh, does anybody need a lawyer? They're all here. Thank you all for being here. Okay, so do we want to go?
All right, thank you, everyone. I would be remiss if I didn't comment on the Alderman's comments. I want to express my thanks to Daryl and the rest of the Tom family for welcoming a little bit of my family into this beautiful park that was named after his father, and the Louis family, who the field house was named after. So obviously it's august company, and Laura would feel very unworthy to be in their company here today. Next, we're going to have a performance from the kids at St. Therese School. As the Alderman said, a lot of you know that we established a scholarship fund at the St. Therese School to help children who are relocating from out of the country, from China mostly, whose first language is not English, and we've established a scholarship fund. We've raised over $200,000 so far for the scholarship fund. Those of you who have not done so, please contribute. Those of you who have, please contribute some more. And so now I think we're ready for the kids from St. Therese.